Well, more and more it's becoming clear home is where it's at. And even more and more Americans, home now, particularly single-family homes, they love it. Now, white picket fence is optional. But today, the existing home sales report underscores the fact that we have a housing revival coming on right now. And even though we do have hurdles like raw materials and skilled labor shortages, it does not matter. Inventories were down 8%, supply down to what they call month supply, 10.6%. But the highlights from this report on a year-to-year basis were phenomenal. 5.62 million analyzed rate, that's almost 3% higher. Your median price for a home, $252,000, up almost 6%. Days on the market has gone down to 27 from 32, and first-time buyers, very critical, 33% from 30% a year ago. In fact, it's those first-time buyers, including millennials, that are making a big difference. And all investors should have exposure to this trend, which I think is only getting underway despite the supply issue. Corroborating this home sweet home theme, Lazy Boy this morning reported earnings. The stock up 22%. Earnings and guidance are phenomenal. So Zillow shares, by the way, also popped on twice its average daily volume. As for the overall market, well, it was a slide in oil and rotation back into high and bad biotech, by the way, that pushed the Dow a little bit lower. Nevertheless, NASDAQ was much higher. On Monday, I mentioned AMD to you. It was the second best performing tech stock in the S&P tech sector today, and it's number one for the week so far. This stock could actually double from here. I'm telling you right now, something big is going on there. By the way, I'm going to have a list of takeovers, potential takeovers in the tech sector, my top 3. So go to wstreet.com for the free copy of that in the morning. Joining me now to discuss overall markets, Shah Gilani and Paul Scott. First of all, let me ask you about this market, Shah. Are you concerned about anything? Low volume, seems a little directionalist lately, that kind of stuff?
I think looking at the standard metrics, there are reasons to be concerned, but I think they get immediately passed over by the fact that the market has been incredibly resilient in spite of all the political setbacks, in spite of not a lot happening in Washington except negative things. The market is making new highs, and I think that's all we need to know is the market wants to go up. It's pushing itself higher. This is in spite of everything that's negative. If we got good news, could you imagine how high the market can go? It can go a lot higher.
Yeah, Kevin, to that point, the last week hasn't been great. Almost every economic data outside of this morning's existing home sales came up a little bit short. Does that have people worried? And what can be the catalyst to make the next move?
Yeah, I don't think people are worried at all. I mean, the oil prices are down because of the surplus. There's a lot of things going on. But consumer confidence is high. And really, in general, the market is positive because people are excited about President Trump's pro-business policies. These are making people very optimistic about the future. And if he can get a tax reform bill through, that'll even catalyze this even further.
Well, that begins with a health care bill tomorrow morning. Are you optimistic about that, Kevin?
Well, I think it's going to be a tough bill to get through. And in the Senate, this is going to be a really crucial time for them because, as we know, President Trump wants health care to happen before tax reform happens. I'm going to be just real honest. I don't know whether they can get it through or not. If they can't, it really becomes a stumbling block for a lot of the further agenda points because it sets off the rest of the plan.
I want to ask you, Shah, about some other things that are going on here. Around the world, for instance, we have U.S. companies, corporate companies. This week it was technology companies, but you've had a lot of big-time corporations make the trek to the White House, make all kinds of pledges and promises, and yet we're still seeing evidence of them doing a lot of business outside of this country. Ford's moving the focus to China. We're hearing that Carnival Cruise Line doing a lot of things in India. Do you trust corporate America to really honor the pledges they're making to President Trump?
No, I think most of those pledges are public relations stunts, unfortunately. It's not a command economy that runs, the United States. It's a free market. So these companies have the right to do that. If we want to change that, we need to change not just the politics, we need to change the tax structure to provide incentives to keep jobs in America, to create jobs in America, and not to outsource them. That's the problem. The problem isn't the free market. The problem is the fact that the tax structures and political
So we get through Trump's economic agenda, and they'll keep their promises, probably.
This, to me, is low-hanging fruit. The Trump administration should be going after these kinds of things and incentivizing companies to keep jobs here in America.
They're definitely trying. That was a huge, huge meeting on Monday, guys. We've got to leave it there.
Yeah.